Alright guys, so Jason here. So after, kind of looking at turbos, we decided to end up, going with the 66 millimeter Dan's diesel turbo. It's the billet, ball bearing, pretty nice little setup. It's got a T51R housing. Anyways, the old turbo, the vanes were sticking real bad and we were having issues there, so we went ahead and just changed the turbo. There's really not a whole lot of reviews on this turbo, and Dan's diesel seems to catch a little bit of a bad rap. Like, people say they're junky turbos. Well, they start with a true Garrett, the Garrett turbo basically that came off these trucks. They modify the housings, modify the internals, modify the wheels, different wheels. I mean, this thing is rowdy, is all I have to say. On the stock tune, it definitely did not want to hit target boost at all. I had to go in there and add a lot of vane to it. Basically, I had to choke it off to get it up and going. But once it gets lit off, it's good to go. I don't have my boost gauge in here, but it's pretty damn. It's pretty damn responsive. It gets up and goes. Granted, we're on 35s, 6 inches of lift. Need to show just kind of a takeoff, just show what's going on. And this is through a full 5-inch exhaust with a muffler. I had a 4-inch straight pipe, and it was just too loud. I mean, the turbo is righteous, but I couldn't ride my kid in the car with the windows down. He'd start screaming. It was that loud. So before y'all judge me and say I'm an old pussy, but I mean, it freaking goes in a hurry. It really does. And it carries out. It sounds so good. I'm telling you, all the whistling right now that you're hearing is coming through the actual intake. I have a S&B intake. This is on stock injectors. It does have a lift pump with stock CP3. We got the race plug in the rail, the big PPE feed to the rails. So, we're definitely limited by the stock fuel system. I just did a mild trans tune on this thing on my own with a couple other little modifications to the tune, and then stacked the edge on top of this. So this is the Edge Evolution, the CTS2. This is their number 2 tune. Which is supposed to be, I think, 60 horse, but it feels like it's picked up a lot more than 60 horse, I'll tell you that much. I guess with the turbo, they're probably accounting for a stock turbo system on there, but I'll pause this so you guys don't have to listen to me Alright, so we're back. I had to put the phone on charge, but yeah, so this thing, I mean, it's definitely more laggy than the stock turbo, but the gains that you get everywhere else are just phenomenal. The sound, the torque, I really like this turbo. And this is on the stock charge pipes. Literally, it's just getting a little bit more fuel to it, to the stock injectors. It's, and I got an S&B, and we got the LB7 up pipes with a 3-inch down pipe to a 5-inch, and I really I'm very tickled with this turbo. It's right at the point of almost, I feel like if you were to go any bigger, you'd be in trouble as a daily. But I mean, it gets up and goes pretty quick. I mean, that was probably 15% throttle. But you really got to choke. You really got to choke it off to get it going. But that's fine. Once it gets up and going, you can ease off the vanes a little bit. It just needs some heat put into it to get them up and spooling. Which I believe, if I do the boost tubes, the driver and passenger side with the wide ridge, do a nice little high flow kit there, that should take that bottleneck enough off to where it'll spool even faster. Overall, I drive this truck. It's really was just kind of, I bought it as a family rig, just, you know, and I got a race car. I haul around a diesel life's where it's at when it comes to that. But in daily, you know, daily driving the turbo, it's really fun. It makes all the right noises. The T51R housing is just, every turbo I get is gonna have the T51R. Like, I love the sound of a turbo starting to spool up. It's hard to compete with, and this turbo just hits the nail on the head for all the noises. I mean, it is just like, the 6.0 guys are like, whoa, you know, that thing got a 6.0 in it. It whistles like a 6.0. It'll definitely make your 6.0 buddies envious. And this is the 9-blade option. That probably has a little bit to do with it being a little bit on the laggy side, but I mean, you know, with proper tuning, you can fix that for sure. I mean, granted, it'll still be a little bit laggier than a stalker. I mean, the stalkers are just work. They really do. But you know, they peter out around 550 ish from what I've seen. And this turbo is supposed to be good for 700. It said 700, so I mean, I guess that's probably will. Well, I'd say it probably has to be will. But to be honest with you, on the level 2, the 60 horse tune, it feels like my buddy's fully maxed out stock turbo, which I had to bring my boost down to low 20s. I was getting up in the 30 pounds, and I was running out of injector. So that tells me, you know, with some injectors, this thing will really get up and rip, but I cannot afford a transmission right now. So, you know, we're just gonna kind of let it ride, just keep him turned down. I mean, I've towed with this turbo. It does great. The EGTs don't go nuts. You know, just looking for the turbo, there was really, you know, there was like no reviews, and everybody was like, oh, it's a junk turbo, blah 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 blah, just because people didn't recognize the name. Well, you know, it's kind of hard to make a junk turbo when you start off with the legit Garrett unit that went on it, and they do all the modifications, everything in-house, and it has a lifetime warranty on it, if I remember correctly. But again, that's dansdiesel.com, or Dan's Diesel Performance, or dansdiesel.com, DDP, Dan's Diesel's Performance. But yeah, man, living around Greenville sucks. I tell you what, driving a big diesel gives me a big diesel that makes some power, gives me road rage. Number one, because it takes a lot to stop this motherfucker. Excuse my language, but it takes a lot to stop it, and people just don't realize how irritating that is. Stopping and going. I do like taking off. It's just the stopping part. I feel bad for my brakes every time, which that's next on the upgrade list. I got a fluid dampener I'm gonna put on it. I'm just slightly worried about the crank. I've heard too many horror stories. I haven't personally broke one, but I'm gonna put a fluid dampener on it, and you know, and then I think next is gonna be, it needs some shocks. It needs a track bar right around my airbags, jacked all the way up, so it doesn't try to wrap the springs real bad. With them all the way deflated, the thing's like hopping like crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, a 6-inch lift, 35s. I did kind of a little custom tune and stacked on top of it. I didn't really touch any of the fueling or the timing. It was just trans tune. So you will definitely need a trans tune. The stock trans sucks on these as far as getting these things up and spooled. I'll hold them out just a little bit longer so the turbo can get up and going, and choke the vanes off on the turbo for sure. Just a little something to get her up and going. but I had to give it a lot to get this one going, but it turned out very, very nice. I'm very happy with it. Now I will say it kind of feels like a stock turbo down low, how they're just insanely torquey just right off the rip. But you know, it's within reason. I actually had to cap the horsepower that this thing makes under 2,000 to keep the trans alive. The converter was starting to slip when it was locked up, so I had to go back in and dial that back down. But yeah, this turbo is very rowdy. Would definitely make sure you have a really good tune or tuner when you put it on, because it will want to lift heads very easy. So just make sure whoever's tuning it's on the money. Yeah, that's my review. I definitely like it. I'll give a little walk around of the truck when I get home. It's kind of my first video posted of the truck. I really I said I'd never be a diesel guy, and here's my second Duramax later. It's all I want to drive. I've got a 528i at the house. It's almost brand new. Gets 30 miles to the gallon, but I choose the old dinosaur just because why not, man? It's like riding in a lazy boy. Riding in a straight up lazy boy that gets down for a big girl. For a 7,000 pound truck, I will say that. I mean, I think I've done a 0 to 60 with this. I think I got 5.1. I haven't done it recently. I've done a little bit to kind of tweak the shifting a little bit, but 5.1 in a 7,000 pound truck, I mean, that is just, it's the amount of torque it takes is astronomical. And it still has the factory head bolts. Like, I was actually, people were probably gonna laugh at this, I was kind of doing my own tuning there for a little while, as far as the timing, and I just kept creeping up, and one day I started pushing coolant. Like, oh crap, all right, well, let's back off the timing, and it's been fine ever since then. We're getting to the point where we're starting to lift the head, but it was getting down, we'll say that much. But you know, since then I've learned kind of the sweet spot for the timing and the fuel. Gonna put it on the dyno. I put an actual wideband on it and do some real tuning to it. But I'm kind of curious to see what it makes right now. It says a 60 horse tune, so you know, I think it's supposed to be on a stock turbo low 400s. I think we're well over that. It's very, very, very saucy. Of course, I can't find a good spot to make a hit, but I will try and find a spot to make a little hit for you guys, just so y'all can watch it. All right, so it's gonna take me a second to get to the spot. I'm just gonna let you guys listen to this thing. Got it tow haul, so the converter's locked up. Turbo just sounds so clean, man. I'm so happy with it. I'll say like 95% of the turbo noises you're hearing are coming out the front. Traffic around here sucks, man. If you got a line of cars behind you, just pull off. Just pull off, or I don't know, pull off. Yeah, pull off, let people pass, or speed up, man. either I think it was starting to spin, or my converter was slipping. But yeah, I've got to get a converter for this thing, because it is it's with it turned down. It's having a really hard time handling the amount of torque that it just puts on when the turbo comes on. It's got to be well over 1,000. Alright, so here we go. Let all the traffic pass. So I just made just kind of like ripped on this thing just a hair, and it definitely felt like the converter is struggling for life to stay locked up. So we'll see. If it gets angry, I'm just gonna let out, but just to give you guys kind of a good idea what we're rocking with.